Welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave. For this episode, we have abandoned the usual movie, TV show, or short story discussions and decided to record on topic, which is the reason why we're all here and the connection that we have with one another, which is a podcast of Ice and Fire. My name is Glenn, and I am Dago Shrivers from the podcast of Ice and Fire forums, and I am joined by Nadia.
Hi guys, I'm Nadia, and I'm Nadia on the forums as well.
And also Vesuvius.
Hi, I'm also Vesuvius on the forums.
And I suppose it is possible that some of you out there are listening to this podcast having never listened to a podcast of Ice and Fire. So just as a warning that we are podcast fanatics and have spent hundreds, perhaps even thousands of hours of our lives listening to the podcasts and know certain inside jokes or coined theories from the podcast. But hopefully it'll give you motivation to give Podcast of Ice and Fire a chance. Just a little history of where this idea came from to do this podcast. So Amin, one of the hosts of Podcast of Ice and Fire, posted on the Podcast of Ice and Fire forums in 2011, and he just asked the listeners to contribute some of their favourite moments from the podcast, and a lot of the listeners wrote in entries that wrote detailed accounts of some of their favourite moments, and then Amin also created a Google document which listeners could add their entry to that document, and then it was planned to do a future Podcast of Ice and Fire episode on a clip show with those favourite moments. But so the Podcast of Ice and Fire hosts are currently very busy and couldn't really find the right time to do it. So I thought this would make a good Vassals of Kingsgrave episode where it would include listener participation, commentary on favourite moments, the coined theories, and then at the end there would be just a clip show of the best moments which are compiled by listeners. And that's, I guess, the main motivation for doing this podcast today. When did each of you start listening to a podcast of Ice and Fire?
Okay, Nadia, do you want to go first?
Oh yeah, sure. I started listening back in April 2012, so I am a pretty recent addition to the APOIF community. Actually, I started listening right after I read the books. So I went straight from the books to the podcast, and I have loved every minute of it.
Did you start listening because you didn't really have anyone to talk to about the books?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly why I started. I still don't know anyone personally that reads the books.
Bummer.
Yeah, I have a few cousins, but they don't live anywhere close to me. They all read the books, but it's kind of hard to discuss. So I ended up discussing it with total strangers living thousands of miles away.
What about you, Vesuvius?
I don't remember the exact month, but it was around, I think, 2011. Yeah, it's kind of the same scenario. In the sense that I also don't really know anyone personally that has read the books, except for a couple of guys from this sword fighting club. Yeah.
I guess for me it would have been March 2012, which would be after I had read. I had read A Feast for Crows, and I thought this is a good point to listen to the 60 or so episodes before, in conjunction with reading A Dance with Dragons. And I think I finished listening to all 60 before reading A Dance with Dragons. So just had to hurry up so I could listen to the other 5 that had been released at that point. So a few of my friends have just recently got into the series, but that was so that was too early for me. So I was I had already read all 5 books by that point, but they've just read all 5 right now.
So they still haven't listened to the podcast?
No, a friend of mine has started listening to a podcast of Ice and Fire. I'm not sure how far he's got. I'm not sure if he has started at episode 1 or not, but he did say that he listened to 118.
Cool.
So I guess I was looking for podcasts on A Song of Ice and Fire. I usually do that when I get some new interest, and this is the first one that I noticed. but I think it was a bit discouraged by one of the iTunes ratings and reviews because they said it was just an awful podcast. They knew nothing about the series, and I thought, maybe I'll give that a try another time. So
I just love how they take like criticisms like that as like, you know, a badge of honor, and it becomes like part of the in jokes of the podcast. And yeah,
the house motto, shocking lack of knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. I just love that. I use that like in my life constantly.
They actually have this line on the about page of the podcast where it says, you know, it's like sitting with your friends and discussing a series of books and making a lot of dick jokes, and it actually is like that. Every time I listen to it, I feel like I'm sitting with a group of my friends and just discussing the book. I think that's what makes it so special. I think it's also about how inclusive they are, how they've started up the forums, they've made this entire community, and everyone feels like they belong here. And I think that just makes it all the more special.
I don't know any other podcasts that have a forum attached to it, that have a perhaps Mugglecast, but I'm not sure. But yep, so it's very inclusive. You can go on to the forums and look at, you know, planning for future episodes and feel like you're involved, feel like you're contributing some ideas that will help shape future episodes. And I like the fact that the podcasts strike the right balance of being serious at times, but also being really fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's definitely a big factor in keeping me sane because, you know, like when I didn't know anyone who had either seen the show or read the books, it was good to listen to them talk because, like you said, it is like actually having friends that know about the books and this world that you can't stop thinking about.
Do you have any favorite episodes in mind?
I think episode 99 is my favorite. It's a very...
Which one is 99?
99 is the review of the Mystery Night.
99 is the Mystery Night, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
It's actually, it's a very thorough discussion of the books, and it's actually a very serious discussion, but at no time do they actually take themselves very seriously, which is what I love about it. And I think Kyle's denial of the fiddler being gay just makes it even better.
I still don't really understand like why he doesn't really get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so blatantly obvious.
A few, I remember when Amin posted the link for the podcast of Ice and Fire survey. Did you guys complete that?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
I remember that I did mention, so it did ask for favourite episodes, and I wrote down episode 18, Lesbians and Dogs. But now that I think about it, I actually, and having listened to it again, I think my favourite episode is episode 40, Forever Better.
Yeah.
I think the discussion of the snuff boxes, the discussion of not getting invited to free breakfast with George, the fact that there's so many hosts in the episode, the current, I don't know if Ashley is in that episode, but Amin, Mimi, Nancy, Kyle, Chase are in the episode, and they make a great group. It's just a really fun episode, and I love the discussion of the TV show. I love the discussion of, so during that episode, I think some discussion on casting decisions, and it's just a great episode.
Was that where the Black Woody thing began? Like the Black Woody of the fandom?
I think that's back in episode 15.
Oh, okay.
When they realised that there was a House Man Woody. And they maybe mentioned that in episode 16 or 15.
Okay. I really miss like having all the episodes listed, like even if you can't download them on the downloads page, because it was like you can like just look at the whole list, and yeah, now you can't.
Well, you can download
I actually have them all downloaded on my cell phone, so I can have them with me all the time.
You can download them from through Dropbox.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just like having a list of like all names of the episodes.
Oh, right, gotcha.
Yeah.
And for Devious, you were going to mention a favourite moment?
Oh, right. there was this episode where Chase, like, he was being basically like they kept saying that, hey Chase, your beard is getting in the way, like stop doing it, whatever it is you're doing with your beard and microphone is like obscene, just stop it. And he was like, I'm not doing anything. And in the end, like, he got so frustrated with like Mimi that he decided to like just shave, and you could hear it in the background. Yeah, I just love that.
That is a great moment, and I did include that in the after show, part of the compilation of clips.
Oh, that's great.
Any other moments that you can think of for Sidious?
From Tyrion the Catcher, when they were talking about Barristan Selmy, and they were like saying like, did he do it before he, got a white cloak? And after like the whole discussion, Mimi said something like, hey y'all, you didn't realize that we are discussing a senior citizen's virginity here on this podcast. Yeah.
It's either that episode or episode 3 part 2, but I love when when she talks about Arianne and says that 8 people have voted for Arianna and one of those was mine because she's a hot bitch.
Yeah.
Any favourite moments, Nadia?
The first one is all the way back in episode 6, Cersei's camel toe.
Great moment.
Yeah, it's a great episode, even though it's just about cover art, but it was a great episode, and that moment just made it for me. And also in episode 99, just Mimi's frustration when Kyle refused to admit that, the fiddler was gay. And when she just, when she blurted out, fiddling with his dick.
Yep, another great moment. Let's see, I love the group readings that they do for some of the chapters, and those are always my favourite moments of the podcast. So a highlight for me would be, I think, episode 53, where they do Joffrey's name day, Sansa number 1 from A Clash of Kings, and let's see, so there's that scene, which is great. I just love Kyle's whiny Joffrey voice, and Amin doing the Hound. It's great. I also love...
Who did the Hound as Darth Vader? Was that Chase?
That was Chase.
Yeah, totally Chase.
Oh, yeah. That was great too.
Yeah.
I also love there is a moment, a chapter reread from episode 42, which is when Jon tries to escape from the Night's Watch, and chapter 70 from A Game of Thrones, and Kyle does this great, beautiful, dramatic reading and includes some of the Night Watch oath into the chapter rereads. I love that moment too. And then, let's see, another moment would be, I guess, just the discussion of whenever Mimi gets into nerd rage about the Harry Potter kids not reading the Harry Potter series. But there's many, many others.
Oh yeah, Kyle is Maester Crescent.
I'm sorry, Kyle is what?
Maester Crescent.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's always saying, oh, my hips. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna think about, like, when I reread the book again. Does anyone remember that moment? I think it's also from episode 3, when Mimi says something like, so if you saw like a version of yourself, like your Cersei or your Jaime, yeah, that one. And I think Chris said something like Mimi would totally do herself if she saw herself in the female form as well.
Yep, that's a great moment. I love that. It really stands out as I guess there's something unique about this podcast because, they use so much adult language and it's somewhat refreshing compared to a lot of other podcasts which seem more family friendly. So during that moment, Mimi talks about if you had a twin and they looked exactly like you, would you have sex with them? And I think Aaron says, am I hot? And he's just like, oh, you might be. Oh, in fact, it's not if you have a twin or not, just if you met someone else.
Yeah.
And Aaron says, no, Mimi then says, if you met someone else who's not related to you, or maybe they are if that's what you're into.
Alright, didn't he say like, no, because I have a girlfriend?
I think he said that, yep.
Yeah.
Any other favourite moments or highlights that you can think of from all 118 episodes?
I loved the most recent episode, the one in which they get into all the geeky discussions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was just, it was a very detailed, thorough episode, and I really enjoyed it.
Which moment did you like particularly? Like, what were they discussing?
It was the what if episode, and it just Stephen, I think it was. He was just discussing a lot of Rob's strategies, and there wasn't any particular moment. It was just the overall episode was great.
I think Stephen is probably like one of the most knowledgeable guys. I can't wrap my head around like most of the battle strategies and like locations and stuff. I'm really not good at that sort of thing.
Yeah. I need a lot of things pointed out for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just added Nadine to the call just now.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi, Nadine.
Hi.
So we were
Sorry,
just,
I'm just catching up, so I'm just listening to see where everybody is at.
we were just talking about highlights or best of moments from Podcast of Ice and Fire. Just maybe you could join in just now if you have any particular favourite moments that you can think of from a Podcast of Ice and Fire.
Well, for me, the one that's I've always tried to sort of that's always sort of been my pinnacle is because I actually started listening to it when after Mimi's hiatus, and she'd come back, and it was Return of the Queen, and I haven't heard anything that really comes close. I was in a public place, laughing like a lunatic on my own, listening to podcasts. So for me, just some of the comments that came out of her were, for me, just some of the best stuff I've ever heard.
And did you start with that episode, or did you start with episode 1?
Oh no, I started with that. I basically because that was the first one I heard, because when I went and I think at the time my BlackBerry had a podcast app, and that was the earliest episode it would actually pick up. And I figured, okay, well, I'll just start from there. And that just happened to be sort of the one that came up as the first one available. Truthfully, I have never felt compelled to go back and listen to any of the old ones, simply because I keep hearing that they're so rough, and they hadn't really gotten into a groove with each other, and for lack of a better way of putting it, the flow hadn't really sort of solidified itself until sort of those sort of later episodes. And for me, going back to, it's a bit like you get into a program, and unless there's particular canon which you need to sort of catch up with, it's actually quite painful to go back and listen to, or go back and whether it's podcast and listen to old episodes, or with a TV show and go back and watch those pilot episodes, because a lot of times the characters haven't quite sort of gelled yet.
I guess that makes sense.
That, and I'm incredibly lazy, and no excuse really.
I don't have any experience in like finding any of the earlier episodes like awkward or strange, like because like the people haven't gelled yet or anything like that. I think it's like I think they were pretty comfortable with each other. I mean, they were making dick jokes like really, really early.
Nadine, do you have a favourite episode of A Podcast of Ice and Fire?
It's difficult to say, because I don't think of it as sort of, I don't think in terms of episodes. I think in terms of sort of moments.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think. Like obviously the episode where Mimi came back after her long hiatus. There was I'm just trying to think. For some reason now that I'm on the spot, I can't think of anything else. It's just that, I mean, that one obviously had the biggest impact with me, because one, it was the first one that I heard, and obviously you always sort of remember the first time. Admittedly, I'm sort of team Mimi. I like her vulgarity. I like her, the fact that she just talks off the cuff, and nothing is thought. There's no internal censor. Basically, she thinks it, she speaks it, and everybody else can all deal with it.
On that note, that brings me on to something else, part of this discussion. So this is, be prepared everyone, this is like a extremely nerdy discussion about, it's basically just our favourite hosts. but it's cleverly disguised as sort of an analogy to the books. So I've written down like 3 scenarios for us to discuss. So let's see. So in the Dance of the Woodies, who would you give your allegiance to? So the first scenario would be, say that Mimi and Ashley leave a podcast of Ice and Fire and start a Harry Potter podcast, but you can only support one podcast. Which podcast would you support and listen to?
Well, see, that's not fair because I don't like anything with Harry Potter. Sorry, Ashley. Sorry. I don't like anything to do with Harry Potter. I mean, I think Harry Potter is just a massive rip-off of The Worst Witch. If you really want to know what happened.
I think that too. The Worst Witch.
Oh, finally, somebody else has heard of that program.
I once read this article which just discussed The Worst Witch and all the characters and how each of them are similar to the Harry Potter characters. Or, well, maybe like 5 or so characters were similar to Harry Potter characters, but, you know, a lot of the story is, you know, did influence J.K. Rowling's writing.
Has she ever, like, spoken of that?
You know, she gets sued for a lot of things. I'm sure there's a long list of...
I think The Worst Witch, though, was just because it was such a tiny thing, and if you go and look it up, it's, you know, they bring up the television program, but it's actually really difficult to find the books that the television program is based on.
It sounds really interesting. I've never heard of it before, so it sounds like a huge like conspiracy thing to me.
Okay, so let's see. Is there anything that, if it wasn't Harry Potter, if it was something else that Mimi and Ashley had an interest in and made a podcast on it?
Oh yeah,
that you liked also.
I'd follow them. The problem is though, it's a bit like when the parents get divorced. Do you love mom more or dad more? That's basically what you've asked me to do. You've asked me to choose between mom and dad.
I think that the problem with Harry Potter is the fact that it's so done. So many people have created podcasts on Harry Potter, and I've heard a lot of them. You know, I've heard Mugglecast, I've heard Pottercast, I've heard Stapes Stories or whatever it's called, and I think that maybe there's not much more you could do with it. But then part of me thinks that Mimi and Ashley would bring a fresh adult take to the story and say, you know, adult things about the series, and it could be very entertaining. But then I also think that Ashley and Mimi not very reliable in terms of attending podcasts, so maybe supporting that podcast there would be few released compared to Kyle and Amin's podcast. So I think in that case I would support a podcast of Ice and Fire with Kyle and Amin.
How long is it between George's books? If you can wait for that long for a single book that you finish in probably 6 hours, I think you can wait a couple of months. I think you can wait a couple of months between podcasts.
Yeah, but what would happen, like, you know, when they do, like, chapter rereads and, like, they do the chapter reads, like, basically Kyle and Amin would have to do all the girl voices, and we'll have to rely on Kyle's falsetto.
I love Kyle's falsetto. That is brilliant. I think he should be playing a woman more often.
Nadia, what do you think? Say if...
I love Ashley and Mimi. I love Harry Potter, but I'm not sure I want to listen to a podcast on it. Like Jim already said, it's so done. I'd probably stay with Amin and Kyle.
Scenario 2 would be Bastards of Kingsgrave becomes more popular than a podcast of Ice and Fire. So Ashley and Amin leave to pursue more podcasts for BOK. So you can only support BOK or a podcast of Ice and Fire. What do you think?
Yeah, this time I'm staying with Mimi.
Yep, in my opinion, just Bastards of Kingsgrave, they've still not really produced anything that I'm interested in. It's all...
Yeah, they talk about a lot of anime, which I never...
It's anime, it's TV shows that I never watched, it's Hercules, and...
You've got to go back and watch Hercules. Hercules and Xena are hysterical.
I watched Xena when I was a kid. I watched a lot of Xena.
I had a lot of chances to watch Xena, but I never got around to it. But I've never seen Hercules on TV. But I did see... Well, I've seen it was on TV anyway. Xena a lot. It was on Sky all the time. And all the adverts for Sky.
Yeah, it was on TV all the time when I was a kid, but I never really got to watch it. Having said that, though, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay with a podcast of Ice and Fire in that scenario.
That's all.
Yeah, I've got to say I'd stay with podcast of Ice and Fire as well. It's difficult to say because there are, I think, out of how many Bach episodes are there? I think I've probably listened to and downloaded about 5. So it's yeah. I think if it was just based on the total of them, I've listened to from episode 68 on. I've listened to every podcast of Ice and Fire, where I've only listened to about 5 of the batches of Kingsgrave.
I have downloaded them all, but I've not listened to them. I think I've listened to 5 of them. And I guess they were good, but I sort of glazed over them because I just didn't know what they were talking about. And there's just not that same interaction with the podcast if you don't have a good gist of the story, of the characters, etc.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. With Vassals of Kingsgrave, you do have to have at least, if not the actual information, at least a good healthy dose of interest in whatever it is they're speaking about, so that you do get something out of it.
This scenario is sort of an analogy to the book's main story. So it's, let's see, so Mimi calls a small council meeting to discuss her ranging expedition to capture Pokemon. Amin tries to advise against this plan, as she is already known amongst the small folk as the Mad Queen for her insistence that Pokemon still exist. She insists on travelling alone, and Amin seizes power for a coup d'etat while Mimi is out on a Pokemon hunt. Amin is backed by Sir Kill the Kingmaker and allies in Westeros, Fantasy Flight Games, Winter is Coming, and Tower of the Hand. Ashley sleeps through the regime change. Meanwhile, Mimi begins travelling with a horde of Mongolians and 3 Pokemon, sighted for the first time in over 200 years, Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, intent on reclaiming her throne. So who do we support, Mimi or Amin?
In this case, I've got to go with my countryman. I've got to go with Amin. I live in the UK, but I am a transplanted Canuck, so I've got to follow Amin.
Are you sure that you want to follow Amin? Like, you know, for what you might know, he might dictate that now all women have to wear like Amin headband bras.
I'm not above a bit of nudity. That's you know, I'm quite.
That's got to
comfortable in
change.
I'm quite comfortable in my skin. I don't mind a bit of nudity. Only
Okay.
no, but it's got to be reciprocal as well.
Alright. So, what kind of laws do you think that Amin would implement if he was like king of the podcasters?
Everything would have to end with A. I think Game of Thrones beer should start being, served at the guys' night out, girls' night out.
Yeah, and no one can ever take like any pictures or portraits of him. He's gotta like, stay mysterious.
Yeah, there is the mysterious vampire theory. Yes, that is
That's
a massive one.
One of my favorite podcasts, crackpot theories.
Well, actually, it makes sense because Amin's planning this trip to Europe later on next year, and he's had to ask for permission to visit everybody. And vampires can't actually enter the threshold of the house until they've been invited in. So there we go. He's actually almost admitted it himself.
You thought a lot on this theory.
My mind is a very scary place today. I think far too long about things I really should.
What about you, for Sivius? Who do you support, Mimi or Amin?
All the apologies to Amin, but I gotta support Mimi because I'm. It's kind of obvious, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Daenerys, so I gotta support Mimi on this.
I'm following you too because I'm a big fan of Mimi.
Yep, I do like the idea of people clawing their way back to the top and a good underdog story, so I think I would support Mimi.
Yeah, but if you're following the analogy that Mimi is Daenerys, and I'm guessing Amin is meant to be what?
Joffrey.
No, not Joffrey. Stannis. Yeah, the problem is technically I don't like Stannis in the books. Yeah, I'm going to get shot for that one as well. But at the same time, though, the Targaryen dynasty won their throne through conquest. So you can just as easily lose it by the same token. So, yeah, you snooze, you lose. Sorry, Daenerys.
Come on, how could you reject Pokemon for everyone?
Well, those aren't good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Plus Plus, there are no other Pokemon around, so they can never evolve into good Pokemon like Blastoise or Charizard.
I just assume that, Mimi coming into the country would mean like in a sudden eruption of like Pokemon everywhere for everyone.
That's possible.
How it susses out how to breed them.
And no one would ever have to fight like with swords or anything anymore. They just like do the Poké-Rap battle.
Nadine, did you, from a few months ago, posted a survey for podcast listeners? Did you complete that?
Yeah. Well, there's been several surveys, so I've tried to answer as many of them as I can. So yes, I think I'm in there somewhere.
Yep. So within that survey, I've just got a few questions. Maybe we can discuss them now. So let's see. One of the questions was guys' night out versus girls' night out episodes, and what is everyone thinking? Do you prefer girls' night out or guys' night out?
I'd say guys' night out usually ends up with more. I guess the discussions sort of tend to spiral into something a lot more interesting, whereas the girls' night out, God love them, it does sort of their tendency to sort of stagnate at certain points. But I think it's just the personalities of the guys that get invited in sort of tend to like Linda's great for essays and things like that from Westeros, but geez. There's something about Ilya that is just, he comes across as so kind of even keeled and just, he's devious, man. And he's got some pretty twisted ideas. And of course, you've got the, guys from the Tower of the Hand. So, yeah, I'd say just based on sort of the discussions and sort of how interesting they are to listen to, I'd kind of go a little bit towards the guys' night out. That's not to say that girls' night out, just for sheer audacity in some of the comments. I sometimes do wonder about Ashley because I just think, God, she comes across some of them as very quiet, very, very bookish, and for some reason, a few drinks in her and surrounded with a couple of other sort of rambunctious females, and all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, where the hell did that come from?
I think it's the rambunctious behaviour which makes me love it so much. I think, so I tend to prefer the girls' night out episodes compared to guys' night out episodes.
Yeah, I think sometimes it depends on my mood because the girls' night out, as you say, is like, no holds barred, like just all out there, and I just love them for that. But if I want to tune in to like a really serious discussion, I tune into guys' night out. But usually, mood-wise, I'm always more in the mood for girls' night out, I guess.
Nadia, do you prefer guys' night out to girls' night out?
Well, guys always end up with a lot more meaningful discussion, but the girls' night out is supposed to be fun, and all it is. So I'm also the girls.
That's another thing that I love about the podcast, the fact that there are so many great guests that join the discussion, the fact that they invite listeners to join in to certain podcasts. For Suvius, you've been on a podcast before. A few, Brendan, FT Board, etc. have been on the podcast, and it's really great. So on the discussion of guest hosts, does anyone have a favourite guest host in all of the episodes? My favourite is Christina, frequent guest of the podcast, Christina from Athens, Greece.
Definitely miss Christina.
Christina is probably my favorite as well. I love Elio as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Elio is a lot, but I'm one of those people that I actually don't mind spoilers. So it's because he drops these tiny little hints, these vague little hints, and you just go, oh, that's a spoiler, and then some people go all ballistic and think, oh, I don't want to know about that, and I'm just going, no, please, spill it, tell us everything.
My favorite definitely has to be Apocalypse Dan because he loves zombies and I love zombies, and I just like the knowledge he brings to the table while also being not serious all the time. I think he's just a great fit for the podcast, and I always look forward to listening to what he has to say.
And the final part of the discussion, I thought we could talk about podcast coin theories. So I've got a long list of them here, and I can just read them out if you don't have the document open. But I thought we could each take turns and try and test our podcast knowledge by explaining what the theories are. So let's see. So I can start with one. So let's see. It's the pink Walder theory, which is the theory that so within House Frey there are many members of the family named Walder Frey, and each of them have certain nicknames: Big Walder, Little Walder, Red Walder, Black Walder. But there is also a little known Walder named Pink Walder Frey, and he would be the gay Frey.
Wasn't he the one that supposedly lured the blackfish away so that's
yes,
how he
as
got away? He was
a distraction for the blackfish.
You had one thing to do.
And also the fact that, it also sort of makes sense. You have to think with so many people in that family, some of them must be gay, and also if you were having a distraction for the blackfish, I'm sure that Lord Walder Frey, he would think maybe he is gay, so he doesn't want to just send a woman to do it, send both a man and a woman.
Maybe he knows something about the blackfish that isn't common knowledge. Send the pink one out.
The next one, Nadine, if you want to take it away, the feathered hat theory.
Yes, the one I know the least about. I'm doing some quick Googling here.
Or Nadia, if you want to take over.
The feathered hat is basically, I don't know how the feathered hat came around, but I just remembered that Theon, in Amin's point of view, Theon has a thing for Catelyn, and Catelyn sort of returns the affections.
It's from, I think, one of the later chapters in A Game of Thrones, where Theon says to Catelyn that he'll give her a feathered hat, and I think it derives from the fact that all the lords in Westeros wear fancy or ridiculous clothing, so that's where the theory comes from, that he wants to make her a hat so that there is that part. There was also the fact that when Theon is Lord of Winterfell, he fucks Kira in Ned Stark's bed, and he says how great it is to fuck someone in Ned Stark's bed. So I always think that to make that better, it would have been to fuck his wife in his bed. And I believe that could be true if Catelyn did go back to Winterfell.
I think it's definitely true from Theon's point of view. I mean, he would definitely have been interested in Catelyn, but Catelyn not so much.
Bronn is Yoren's brother.
Oh, now this one I never actually. I don't think I've actually seen this particular theory, but it to a certain extent it there are parts of it that you think, oh, actually, yeah, that possibly would be it. I mean, I'm just trying to think where. Oh crap!
It's more of a TV show canon type idea.
Yeah. I would probably say that would make a lot of sense.
Where did this come up? Sam got sent to the wall for taking Margaery Tyrell's maidenhead.
I
don't remember this. I don't remember this happening.
That's from episode 74. They're talking
really?
about. Yep, it's along those lines. I'm not sure if it's 74 or 75, something like that. But they just talk about Samwell Tarly and the fact. Oh no, in fact they're talking about Margaery Tyrell and the fact that whether she's a virgin or not. And then Meany says something like, "It was Sam. That's why he got sent to the wall. That ship wasn't going to fly." No, it's possible with Sam's father being a bannerman of the Tyrells, and he would have met Marjorie a few times, I sort of
she totally
to
would
that
have
theory.
stopped him. She would have told. I don't think it was the case of. I don't think it was the case of Marjorie taking or Sam taking Marjorie taking it. I think it's a case of Marjorie taking Sam's cherry.
Yep, that makes.
Sam's terrified, and what's her name? The Crasher's daughter, Gilly. Yeah, Gilly. I mean, she's short of actually throwing her skirt up over her head and saying, "Take me now." She's giving Sam all the signals, and he's like, hesitate.
Oh, the booby-trapped saddle.
The booby-trapped saddle. Yep.
I actually remember when this happened. It was the Cripples, Bastard, and Broken Things recap review.
Oh, yeah, it was a mishearing, wasn't it?
Somebody actually, I think, tweeted it somewhere, or some guy who only watched the show. He commented somewhere. He wrote Booby-trapped Saddle.
Sorry.
I love when
I'm just saying it since it mentioned boobs. The podcast just caught onto it and held on.
That would have been Kyle.
I love that it's also included in the art projects for the podcast.
Has anyone actually? I know the theory there to Iron Islands, but I can't remember the exact. So who was it? Who was supposed to have left an heir? Because I mean, I know Theon slept with most of the northern girls. Most of the North. But
no, this was the girl he was banging on his way to.
Oh yeah.
On his way back to the Iron Islands.
Yes, he left the
girl on the
captain's
ship.
daughter.
Yep, I believe this theory.
Yeah, the one with the weird teeth.
But does the captain know who he was, or like who he? I mean, he knew he was Theon, but did he just think Theon, pissy little bastard who's just
No, he knew this is Theon Greyjoy. I'm pretty sure he did. The girl seemed to know.
Well, I suppose Theon probably wouldn't have made a big secret of it, would he?
Yeah, he was probably bragging about it to everyone.
I had the ship's daughter. The captain's daughter. Actually, I would like to see that one come to, because that would just be the spanner in the works, wouldn't it?
That's useful.
But I don't think they would really care. I mean, most of the Iron Islands nobility, they have salt wives and presumably bastards. Euron Greyjoy has a number of bastards, and nobody seems to care about them at all. They don't consider him his heirs, so presumably they would think the same about Theon's bastards.
Well, it depends on how he's promoted. It's all about the promotion.
It seems like
maybe
more of an afterthought, that it's a nice little hint to the readers that this did happen before Theon was emasculated. There is the crooked Wang theory, which is where so it's a character trait of all of Robert's bastards. Among the black hair and the strong looks, the fact that there would be a crooked, each of them have a crooked Wang.
Even the girls.
Males anyway.
I thought, wow, that's impressive. Strange, but impressive. I mean, some of them I can see where the theories have sort of come out and sort of these little holes which George has left in the story, and we fill it in with speculation, like spackling. But some of them I just think, God, there must have been a lot of beer and shadow wine drunk that night.
Yeah, take Blood Oranges, for example.
Oh, no, but Blood Oranges is Blood Oranges is definitely drink consumed.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Ygritte is Tormund's daughter is meant to be, that's a show thing, isn't it?
That's a show canon thing, yes.
It is.
It would make sense, though. It would make sense, because he doesn't seem to give a shit about any of the other wildlings that he's traveling with, and it's like, no, don't go after him.
Yeah, but then he's giving Jon advice about, sex with Ygritte, and that's weird.
That's not weird. That's wildling. Wildling is like, if she's my daughter, I want her to be laid proper. I want her to be purring like a cat at the end of that. If she comes out of that and she's disappointed, you haven't done your job, and I hope she switches up. My daughter shall be bedded by a man.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because they're very open about sex and
They are.
I mean, let's face it. If Tormund could, he'd have it out every second of the day. If he didn't think he'd freeze off, he'd probably be flashing it everywhere.
Yeah, he talks about it constantly.
I think if most men had the proportions of Tormund, they'd probably be bragging about it as well. I know a lot of guys who don't have those proportions and still brag about it.
I love the theory about all of the maesters would be in high school together, and the fact that Melisandre is like the class dunce, sort of reiterating the fact that Stannis always gets the bad things in life, like the Raven. He gets a smuggler for a hand. He gets Melisandre as a sorceress or advisor, and I just love that fact.
Oh no, Melisandre's not the class dunce. She's the Vegas magician. But she's not some Vegas musician who you pay $200 to go and see. She's the Vegas musician who's playing over at the crappy little hotel, sort of a the end of the strip where, you know, it's sort of all you can eat for, you know, $1.99 and a dinner show. Magic. Yay! Hot pie is the most devious man in Westeros. Now that has got to be probably, just reading of all of them, I mean, there's a lot of ones that I really like, but Hot Pie is the puppet master of Westeros. And he's pulling all these little strings, and everybody is like, dance, puppet, dance. Now that is brilliant.
That's that's from a...
I think that's just a result of Mimi's obsession with Hot Pie.
But it's a perfect cover-up. I mean, everything is because of the way Hot Pie wishes it. And nobody thinks it. That's a brilliant cover-up. Dennis thinks he's going to get Yoren thrown because he's doing all of this stuff to help him out. No, it's because Hot Pie wishes it. The true kingmaker.
Let's see, so that's all I had in terms of ideas, but anyone have anything else to say?
Nadia, please.
Nothing I can think of at the moment. You go first.
Okay. I just want to say that, you know, I've never been a massive follower of podcasts until I heard Podcasts of Ice and Fire. It's this, you know, it's this brilliant mix of really awesome discussions about a book that I absolutely adore, and a series which I really, really love, and but thrown in with enough crudity and dick jokes. I mean, I could do without the dick. I think we need more fart jokes, personally, but you know, that's just a preference.
Of the 3 years or so where I have been listening to podcasts, you know, this would rank very highly in favourite podcasts. It's just, it's also one that I've consistently listened to, whereas in the past I've listened to Mugglecast or Mutations and a few other podcasts and just lost interest over time, whereas this one, it's still keeping me waiting for the next episode, and I enjoy listening to it, and it's some great serious discussion, but they strike the right balance with, you know, dick jokes and, you know, sex jokes.
And Kyle falsetto.
I love Kale's impressions.
Oh yeah, I love the fact that, you know, he plays a woman like nobody else I know.
But the only thing left, I just want to... So I have produced a best of compilation of listeners' favourite moments from a podcast of Ice and Fire. So don't go away yet, listeners, because you're just about to hear it right now. So I just want to thank some of the forum members who have helped to produce this best of compilation, because they did submit entries in the thread within the forums for best of moments. So just want to thank Brendan, Mordian, Ellie was here, Usurpation Blitz, T-Duck, Vesuvius, Lex, Linecom1, and FT Word. You've really helped producing the compilation and fastly producing the compilation. So thank you, everyone. And let's see, I guess that's all I have to say.
Yep.
So thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Intended to challenge him to single combat.
I should like to see that, Your Grace. More than you know, Sansa kept her tone cool and polite. Yet even so, Joffrey's eyes narrowed as he tried to decide whether she was mocking him. Will you enter the list today? She said quickly.
The king frowned. My mother said it was not fitting since the tourney is in my honor. Otherwise, I would have been champion. Isn't that so, dog?
The hound's mouth twitched. Against this lot? Why not?
Bravo!
Will you joust today, my lord? She asked him.
Clegane's voice was thick with contempt. Wouldn't be a bother of arming myself. This is a tournament of gnats.
My dog has a fierce bark. Perhaps I shall command him to fight the day's champion. To the death! Joffrey was fond of making men fight to the death.
You'd be one knight the poorer. The hound had never taken a knight's vows. His brother was a knight, and he hated his brother.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, well, I got a knack for picking nicknames. I played a lot of Pokemon in my youth, and I used to always nickname my Pokemon, so.
What? No, I'm a purist. You keep those Pokemon names
no,
the
my
same.
Pikachu's not named the same thing as that Pikachu. Fuck that. That's racist. That's like having a dog and having it named Dog.
What?
It's like your name's Dog, but you're a dog.
There's nothing wrong with that. First of all, you cannot, if you caught all the Pokemon, which I don't know if you have or not because I'm not sure of your Pokemon Master validity, but if you've caught all the Pokemon, you can't keep up a continuous naming structure for them, okay? That's just...
Oh, yeah.
What?
Battle. Let's have a Poke Battle.
No, seriously. Larry, come on. You cannot have cool names for all of those Pokemon. Like that fucking Caterpie that you got just to fill up the Pokedex. You didn't name it something awesome because it's not awesome. It's a Caterpie.
Worms.
You called it what?
Yeah.
Okay, that is kind of a cool name. But then what did you name Weedle?
Weedle? The bee? No. Weedle was the...
No. Weedle was the pre-evolution of Beedrill.
Actually, I think Weedle got... the stinger. Because my Weedle evolved. See, and for the record, I didn't catch a Caterpie just to fill in the Pokedex. All my Pokemon evolved on their own. From start to finish, sister.
That's bullshit. You did not evolve every Pokemon.
Okay, you know what? Should we ever meet, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go find my Pokemon Yellow, and you'll see for yourself.
I guess I will. I don't believe you caught all
my
of
God,
them.
why is this my favorite episode ever?
And I promise you, I'm busting ass when I come, too. I'm going to bring my link cable and everything. I'm busting ass.
Oh, fucking link cable.
We'll see. I don't think you got your Dratini all the way up to a Dragonair. Not without some rare candies, anyway.
Okay.
Cheater. I went there.
That's true. They should definitely get whoever plays the roles. Like, I don't know. You can't get them to read the books, I suppose, but do something. Like, do more than it's a good background if you read the book.
You should make them read the books. That should be fucking mandatory for everyone who acts in anything that is an adaptation of a book. I mean, or adaptation of a book. Because those idiot kids in Harry Potter. Like, seriously, half of them don't even read the series. It's not a hard series to read. It's like
you could make them read the book. It would be a very, very little requirement for somebody who's going to be paid so much money to read a few books.
It is, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm too busy," and I was like, "Seriously,
what the fuck are you doing? You're an actor. Like, what are you doing on the?"
I refuse to believe you're acting 24 hours a day and that you don't have the time to, like... It's not like anyone's asking you to read, like, Crime and Punishment, to do the reenactment for it. It's like, Harry Potter is on, like, a fucking, like, hop-on-pop reading level. It's not that hard. Yeah. It's like, it's a good story, so... I'm just kind of blown away. I could understand the struggle of trying to get through the whole Song of Ice and Fire series, though, if you're not big on this type of... I don't know. This type of series. But who's not, That's, I don't know. I think if
Harry
anybody...
Potter, they were kids. They don't even work a full day.
Exactly. There are labor laws, They can't fool me into believing they're too busy.
I don't know. I kind of disagree.
Really?
I mean, if I had been cast in the Twilight movie, you couldn't pay me to read those books, man.
But see, no. I disagree with this because if I were in the Twilight movies, then I would absolutely have to read the books. I mean, no matter.
No.
That
guy who plays Edward doesn't read the books.
Well, he doesn't, but that's because he's too beautiful to read.
So why is Lord of the Rings so popular? Like with so many different types of people.
Well, that's old. That was written in like the 70s. So it's had a following for a long time. People have grandfathered that book down to 70s. Their kids and their kids' kids. If the kids' kids had babies when they were teenagers.
Also, Elijah Wood's in it.
That too.
Yeah. He gives me so many boners.
Aaron was just saying it was
Jesus Christ. He does not.
What? Are you sure? Because he does as Frodo. Not like normal Elijah Wood, but like Frodo. Oh my god, I would hit that until he started crying.
Oh my god.
What's wrong with you?
He's just so beautiful, and he's got these blue eyes, and he's just like, I don't know, he looks really young.
Did you see him in
So you're a pedo now?
I'm like, for some reason, I'm kind of into younger guys, but not really, like, not to the point where I've ever dated one or wanted to date one, but they're like, I don't know if they're kind of sexually appealing. Is that, like, it's not creepy, right? Because, like, guys are into younger girls, right?
What are our podcasters' irrational fears? So I hesitate before I touch anything metal around my house, or especially for some reason my car door. The car doors shock me a lot. I don't know why. So I usually like hesitate, or if I have long sleeves on, I'll actually pull my sleeves down over my hand and open like the car door or something. What are your guys' irrational fears? I'm talking too much.
My biggest one is, and the weirdest, is I hate telephones. Like, I don't think it's really well, I guess it is a fear, because I will go to extreme lengths to avoid using a telephone. I will use them. I can phone my friends or people I know, but I hate answering the phone. I hate phoning strangers. I just can't do it. I am, in general, a shy person, but for some reason, I would much rather be face-to-face with someone than trying to speak over a phone. And, like, I have walked, like, over half an hour to talk to someone rather than use the phone. I have turned down a promotion at work to go into customer service because I do not want to have to answer phones then.
Wow.
I just really hate phones. I hate them.
And I think that is an excellent point. And for those of
Dick and family.
For those of you who have no idea what we're laughing about, please go to towerofthehand.com and look up the Manwoody family tree. Because the last two members of the Manwoody family tree are named Moors Manwoody and Dickon Manwoody. And we only think this is funny because we're like 10 years old.
No, see, Bran is going to take over Hodor and make him go Super Saiyan, and Bran's going to control his mind.
I don't think Hodor has anything to do with anything.
You don't think he's going to take over Hodor?
No, well, I think
If
he
Stephen
will, but
King was writing
only
this,
to get...
Hodor would save the day.
I think he will, Ashley, but only to get with Mira. Because I read that fan
Oh,
fiction,
ew.
and I enjoyed it.
No.
Bran's like 9, Mimi.
No, Hodor's not.
Oh,
Do I make a good point, Chase? Do I make a good point? Okay, Tyrion Lannister.
No breakfast for you.
I would definitely marry. Tyrion is marriage material.
I would decline. I'm sorry. I'm not into
throw him off
marriage, but I don't want to kill him.
Well, those are the only choices in life.
If I was gay, he'd have to catch, because there's no way I'm taking it.
You know he'd have to catch on, like, a stool or something, right? Like, it...
It just wouldn't be satisfying, would it? Everywhere what's dirty, that's where you want to go whoring? Wherever's the dirtiest.
I was gonna say, since my first answer got totally shot down and you made me look like an ass, my next choice would be to take a fishwife or whatever. The
salt life.
Yeah. Just take it
from behind.
The fuck is a fishwife? Oh wait, hold on.
I'm sorry, Aaron. That was funny though.
Aaron, hello.
Shit. What happened?
Your call got held because your answer was so stupid.
I'm laughing at you.
I think I hit something on my keyboard and... Okay, what was the last thing you heard?
You want a fishwife.
Fishwife.
Okay, yeah.
Salt wife.
And the reasoning behind that is that you get one permanent whore instead of like having one every other week or whatever. So if you do happen to find a decent one, which might take a while, but when you do find a decent one, then you don't have to like keep switching.
You are not a man who appreciates his variety. What if you get bored?
Kill her.
Then you can take a new one, but it's not gonna. I don't know.
You don't have to share.
At least it's not as dirty.
It's
It's like a Tyrion Shay relationship.
You don't have to share.
I think Tyrion's first requisite for Shay was that she take no other customers while the two of them were still intimate. I was like, oh, it's like, a girlfriend experience.
Except you have to
That's
pay her.
paid for.
That's what they do in
Hey,
the
they do
escort
that.
business.
They do that nowadays. It's called escorts.
Yeah, it's called the GFE.
Oh, I was kind of avoiding this, but Mimi, how about you? Would you?
I already told you.
You did? I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I said I'd go chill out with the courtesans at Bravos.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
That's where the good pussy is, apparently. So. What? What is wrong with you? You seem to disapprove of everything
I'm gonna
I
have
say.
nightmares.
Nightmares about good pussy? What's wrong with you?
No. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay, Sir Barristan looked up sharply.
Yeah.
A hall to die in, and men to bury me. I thank you, my lords, but I spit upon your pity. He reached up and undid the clasp that held his cloak in place, and the heavy white garment slithered from his shoulders to fall in a heap on the floor. His helmet dropped with a clang. I am a knight, he told them. He opened the silver fastenings of his breastplate and let that fall as well. I shall die a knight.
A naked knight, it would seem.
Nice.
And then he cries a little bit.
Yeah.
Single tear.
Now we're
Single
jumping
tear.
down to
Have no fear.
like he draws his sword. Sir Boros and Sir Meryn moved forward to confront him, but Sir Barristan froze them in place with a look that dripped contempt.
Have no fear, sirs. Your king is safe. No thanks to you. Even now I could cut through the five of you as easy as a dagger cuts cheese. If you would serve under the Kingslayer, not a one of you is fit to wear the white. He flung his sword at the foot of the Iron Throne. Here, boy, melt it down and add it to the others if you like. It will do you more good than the sword in the hands of these five. Perhaps Lord Stannis will chance to sit on it when he takes your throne.
Yay!
Hey.
You should do all the audiobooks,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Idle talk, said Varys the eunuch, without meaning.
Dude, that's actually evidence of Varys trying to keep him alive, right? He doesn't want him to get just cut down. He wants him alive, right? So then he can go to
Oh,
Dan.
yeah, because he wants him to go help out Dany.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He could be making plots with my uncles. I want him seized and questioned. Joffrey raised his voice. I said, I want him seized.
My gold folks will see to it, Your Grace.
Wow. Joffrey once again displaying his intelligence.
Jaina strode from the hall, his ugly sons double-stepping to keep up as they lugged the great metal shield with arms of House Slint. Your Grace, reminded the king, if we might resume, the 7 are now 6. We find ourselves in need of a new sword for your Kingsguard.
I like that Littlefinger sounds just like Joffrey.
I don't even know what voice.
Okay, let's get to the Clegane line, then we're done. We're almost there, right? So,
Joffrey smiled. Tell them, Mother.
yeah.
The king and council have determined that no man in the 7 kingdoms is more fit to guard and protect his grace than his sworn shield, Sandor Clegane.
How do you like that, dog? King Joffrey asked. Hound's scarred face was hard to read. He took a long moment to consider. Why not?
Wow, it's Darth Vader.
Keep reading.
You know what's easier than doing a discussion of the chapters is just doing this.
Yeah. Well, let's finish up that line. Go ahead.
Yeah, come on.
I have no lands nor wife to forsake. I don't care if I did. The burned side of his mouth twisted. But I warn you, I'll say no knight's vows.
The sworn brothers of the Kingsguard have always been knights, Sir Boros said firmly.
Until now.
Oh my.
Wow, can you see Cersei's camel toe? Because
I was just about to say it.
God, they included camel toe.
Is that really necessary? It's bad enough.
She's got some hard nipples going on there too.
Yeah, the nipples are pretty much fantasy standard, but the camel toe? Really? We need to know what her vulva looks like? Oh my god.
I can't believe you guys look that hard.
It's kind of hard not to, because you're like, oh, that's an incredibly skanky outfit. Wow.
Well, yeah, but I didn't really look there.
Aaron does.
Actually, I think I noticed it first, so.
with Harry Lloyd. Don't get me wrong. I was sad about the crowning. I mean, it was really well acted, and the whole like Dany staring at him like she just didn't give a fuck was great. But yeah, it's to see him go as a character, and I'll miss him acting on my television screen every Sunday.
Aww.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring him back as Davos.
They could bring him back. They could bring him back as Rhaegar in flashbacks, because aren't they supposed to look exactly like?
You mean Rhaego?
No, Rhaegar.
No, talking about Harry Lloyd.
Lloyd. Okay. I was like, you want to bring back Jason Momoa as the Targaryen?
No.
Just stick his baby picture.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who thinks that they should bring Harry Lloyd in to play flashback of every single Targaryen there is.
Yeah.
Even the women.
He did such a good job that, like, I hated Viserys in the books. I hated him so much. But I actually liked him and felt quite a bit sorry for him on the show. And I think that's probably really more the feeling that George wanted you to have in the books.
I think that with Viserys, there's so much of a comparison to Theon because they're both characters who do shitty things. But with Theon, like I find him a little more sympathetic because we get his POV. But they're both like kind of detestable people. So I think that HBO should be like, see you later, Alfie Allen. We're gonna bring in Harry Lloyd to be Theon Greyjoy for the next season, and we're gonna dye his hair and then show his wang. What?
And the Theon that we have now, he turns my stomach. I don't know what it is about him, about Alfie Allen, but I don't know. He seems a bit rapey McRaperson to me.
That's exactly what Theon encompasses, though.
Yeah, but if Harry Lloyd was being a rapey McRaperson,
I think maybe because Harry Lloyd is so much more physically attractive, it wouldn't put me off so much on the character.
God, I bet his dick is beautiful. I bet it's made out of candy and rainbows.
What do you guys think of the next scene with Aerie and Jiggly? First time we see them, right? And Doria.
Oh my god, they sound so
It is known. It is known.
It is known, Khaleesi.
Well, it is straight from the books.
Oh my god.
It is known.
God, I wanted to slap him.
It is known. It is known.
It is known.
It is known.
It is known.
How come none of these bitches are Asian?
One of them is just straight up black, too. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I just like the way you said straight up black.
So, do any of you guys have any speculations on who might be cast? I know a lot of people are pulling for Alfie Allen.
Who's
to
that?
stay on Greyjoy. He's Lily Allen's little brother, and a lot of those hints kind of point to him, including the fact that Martin is listening to a Lily Allen song when he's updating. So maybe he just has bad taste in music, but maybe that was also like his hint. I mean, he was played by a puppet in his sister's music video called
Alfie Allen, and he's not a bony pop singer.
Well,
and if you Google him, there are a lot of dong shots.
I know, what the hell?
Because he replaced Daniel Radcliffe in Equus. So he that's his connection to Harry Potter, if anything. So he's doing the horse, but
he's doing a horse.
Oh God, we're not going into this.
He's doing a female, is what it looks like.
Near a horse, which is inappropriate as it is. But
well, they are in a barn, yeah.
So that's him, and a lot of people think he's going to be Theon, but I don't know.
Let's see. Does he look like Theon? All I can see is dong.
I
find a picture without dong.
He
looks like he's acting like Theon. Yeah, he's acting like.
Here's one.
Assuming Theon has his dong out all the time, but I mean, I don't know. But his coloring reminds me a bit of Rob's, but.
Theon does get his dong out, but if you look at that picture I linked, that one looks...
Okay, Mimi, along those lines, I have something coming for you. My daughter has learned the Pokemon rap. Oh, yes. You're putting her on here, right? Yeah. Let me get her to do it. Her and my son have watched nothing but Pokemon for like 2 weeks straight.
Whoa.
Wow. So, her, Larry, we'll get them together. We'll do it. Yeah. Great idea, Nancy.
Mimi is soon going to be your daughter-in-law.
Yeah, well, my son's 9, so...
Yeah, well, Mimi robs
Don't
the cradle,
really
so...
start. I am not into 9-year-olds. Fuck you, Kyle. And I'm going to start with these predictions because I don't need you accusing me of pedophilia all over again. Well, somebody did that when I was at the midnight release for Deathly Hallows. They ran in and yelled, "Ron dies," and ran out. And I was like, bitch, that ain't real. But that's because I'd read Carpet Harry Potter already, so I was okay. But
Carpet
no, I mean,
Harry
it's Harry.
Potter? Is that like lesbian Harry Potter?
That's when somebody got a copy and took photos of it against a really gross-looking carpet and of every page. And then some desperate people read it. I'm not going to name any names, but yeah, that was Carpet Harry Potter. And honestly, this is like, I'm really glad there wasn't a Carpet Dance with Dragons because I probably would have tried to read it too, because it's like 2 days before the book comes out, and I find out that there's a way that I can look at it on my computer beforehand, and I'm just there. I admit I already looked for Dance with Dragons to see if it was out. Oh, yeah, totally. I will probably search every day until Tuesday for that.
So if you're listening to this podcast and you have any sort of ethnic descent, Chris hates you. And that is one reason why I hate Chris and I would set him on fire. The second reason I hate Chris and would set him on fire is because he's old. Chris is in his late 30s, possibly in his early 40s by now. And that is way too old to be doing anything on the internet. He is old and that makes him creepy. Okay.
Wait, didn't he also describe himself as Littlefinger one day, too?
Yes, he also said that if he were any character in the series, he would be Littlefinger. Which further suggests that he likes young ladies, which explains why he is a 40-year-old on the internet. Okay, number 2 reason why you should hate Chris. He's a pedophile, lock your children up. Okay.
You thought a lot about this.
Don't add him on Facebook. He saves your pictures. Okay.
I don't have any pictures, so...
Well, there you go. You played it safe. Third reason why you should hate Chris and set him on fire. He hates women. Chris has talked lengthily in all of the podcasts about how he's a misogynist and he hates women. And in fact, he has once said, "I hate women because I am married." So, that also, fourth reason why you should hate Chris is because he's a lousy husband and he hates his wife. Okay.
Wait, isn't his wife Japanese too?
Yes!
To be why?
Yes, Chris is a hypocrite. Fifth reason why you should hate Chris. He's a hypocrite because he's racist, and yet he has a Japanese wife. Okay? Reasons why Chris is a terrible, terrible person, and why I will set him on fire for not bringing me to this fantasy desert island of his, okay? What about you guys?
I don't think we can compete with that.
He's gonna really hate me after this. But I'm just saying,
hurt so bad.
And he's always talking about my boobs. 6th reason why you should hate Chris. He will talk about your boobs all the time, and if your boobs are big, he will accuse you of having small boobs. And if you have small boobs, he will complain about the fact that you have small boobs. And he shouldn't be talking about people's boobs. He's old. Okay? But yeah, what I was saying is that aside from being beaten by the Kingsguard a little bit, Sansa's had it fairly easy. I mean, she's still a virgin after everything. She hasn't even been raped yet. I mean, she's had it pretty easy.
Wow, so easy.
Well, I'm just saying. She hasn't been, like, nearly starved to death and nearly burned alive like Arya, so...
We're gonna compare how bad your life's been to Arya. Pretty much everyone comes out looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, compared to all the Starks, you know? I mean, Sansa's alive, you know, and hasn't been killed, hasn't been nearly killed. I don't think she's had... well, except for, I guess, the episode with Lisa. But, still.
Oh, and the mob. If the Hound wasn't there, she would have died. Or raped. Probably both.
Yeah, well... I didn't hear about that in detail, so I don't know how bad it might have been for her, but I still think she got off fairly easy, so... considering that she was the catalyst for all of this.
You know my Theon, Caitlyn bed slave theory?
Oh, God.
No. There's some support for that here.
What? Go on.
At least from Theon's perspective.
Excuse me?
Yeah. If you go to the second page in, Theon is talking to Caitlyn, and he's just acting coy toward her and stuff. Like he's when he responds, he says some stuff, and Theon replied with a cocky smile, and he's like, "I'm going to promise you a hat."
Theon is always cocky, and that's just him saying, "Oh we're fucking up all his ravens."
I'm going to promise you a hat?
Yeah.
Out of all the ravens.
I'll save you their feathers for a hat.
He's just boasting. That's what he does.
No, but he's.
It's not like he said a hat that you wear while you're riding on my dick.
No, I'm just saying, if Caitlyn had gone back to Winterfell, she would have ended up as Theon's bed slave. That's
with a hat.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
What?
Yeah. No.
Oh God, I love Theon.
I just want to say
Would
that
have.
I think wearing a feathered hat is the most bizarre thing you can do while having sex.
Well, that's what the whores usually wear is bizarre clothing, right? So he's implying that he'll make her his bed slave.
What?
Mean has spent a lot of time on this theory, guys. Don't ruin it for him.
I never asked, why do you wear them around your neck?
You got some bones.
Why do you wear them around your neck, though?
Got some bones.
Hey, I asked you a question. Why do you...
Fucking shut up! I'm trying to watch this shit.
There's something called subtitles.
Alright, I'm gonna finish my dinner.
Whoa, that bitch is so pregnant! Holy shit!
Look at them prego titties.
Didn't use shadow condoms.
Whoa, well, what the fuck? She's just spreading her legs, and it's just...
Doing a Roz impression.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy Mother of God, Davos, kill it with fire. Oh, it's moving like an alien. Oh.
This is why you use contrast,
Whoa.
kids.
Whoa. Oh my God, it's like Hexus from Fern Gully coming out of her vagina. That's insane.
That's where shadow babies come from.
Looks at her and the fear on her face.
Yeah.
And he makes that decision right there. And can I just say, it is so awesome when he pushes Bran out the window and he's not even fucking looking at Bran.
Yeah.
It's like when you walk away from an explosion and put the sunglasses on. I wish he had done that. Like, it's so cool that he does that. I know a lot of people did not like the way he pushed Bran out the window, but I think that was the most badass, like, Jaime Lannister type thing, is to not even fucking look at that kid. So what's been going on in the Song of Ice and Fire world since you guys last released the last Beyond the Wall episode?
Oh my gosh, that's a good story. That's a good story. That's a good question.
I've heard there's a new book coming out now, an ebook.
Yeah, I hear it's something like Beyond the Wall, but different, focusing more on the series and the content of the narrative than any literary aspects of it.
You guys are terrible. Oh yes, do tell me about this book, Mimi.
Well, I hear that TowerOfTheHand.com, our unofficial sponsors, have put together this ebook. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Tower of the Hand, and I don't know why you would be and why you would be on our 87th episode without having heard about them in great detail, but Tower of the Hand has been basically the preeminent resource on Song of Ice and Fire, Tower of the Hand in Westeros, of course, and they've been around for about 7 years, is that correct?
7 years, yep.
7 years. And so basically they have a bunch of great writers contributing articles in addition to all of their chapter recaps that we so badly need over here at the podcast. And 5 of the site's authors and the founders are actually going to put together this book called Tower of the Hand, A Flight of Sorrows. And it's got a bunch of essays in it. Not unlike Beyond the Wall, but, like we said, Beyond the Wall did focus on a lot of the literary elements of Song of Ice and Fire and what the content of those books parallel real-world events and themes. Yeah, so Flight of Sorrows is actually going to be about the narrative, exploring lots of different facets of it, a different essay over each topic. And so there's going to be some pretty good writers in this, right, Amin?
Yeah, I think, is Stefan in it as well? I think he is.
Yes, and he's from Boiled Leather, correct?
Yeah, Stefan from Boiled Leather, he was one in Guys Not Out 4 with us, is in this. And I think that's one of the first ones in there. And I think you're describing it pretty well. I think the way this book is supposed to be is two things. One is it's good for people who've just read through the series and now they want to know more. They want to see some more theories. They want to see some analysis. They can just jump into this. But also for people who have read it a lot of times and follow the podcast, there'll be a deeper level there as well. But just related to the series, you won't have had to read other books to read this book.
So what sort of topics? I don't know how much you guys can say, but what sort of topics is the book going to have? Is it going to cover? Is it about specific characters? Is it about specific story arcs within it? What's going on?
Well,
we can say what our topic is briefly. I think just kind of.
Yeah. Oh, we get also. Amin and I are contributing authors.
By the way.
By the way, for those of y'all who didn't pick up on that.
We also, I don't even know if I should even mention this, but for those of you who are just picking up our podcast for the first time, obviously you would not be listening to this episode right now because, you start chronologically, you start with episode 1, and just as a preface, that's not really the episode to judge us by. It is not our finest moment in terms of knowledge, preparation, technical proficiency, or... we weren't even very funny that episode either, were we?
Episode 3 is clearly the epitome of what we're trying to aim for.
Yes, episode 3, part 1 is the zenith of our entire career in podcasting. And quite clearly, Tyrion the Catcher is the direction you need to go in to get an idea of how thorough and groundbreaking this podcast is. So, as Derek Wolfe has recently... talk shit on us on the Song of Ice and Fire Facebook group. Okay, so we caught you.
Oh, you were the same person on the Facebook group?
Yes, it's the same person.
I was unaware of this.
He apparently has several problems with us. And, he mentioned that he finished the first podcast from our site, and the lack of knowledge was pretty shocking, and that we are far from phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Well. Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. You need to link me to this right now.
Okay, but don't cry, Ashley. Keep your chin up, because... Although, you know what? To be honest, I don't really think that we would ever call ourselves a phenomenal podcast. I think the correct adjectives for us would be along the lines of, creepy or invasive or,
Where's that creaking door?
Yeah, molestationary.
Yeah, I can do that, before I even get up in the morning.
What were the words, base and common or something like that?
Oh my god. The best comment that we've ever received about our podcast, which was, again, just talking shit on us. Hold on, you guys, I'm gonna have to find the exact quote so that I don't butcher it with my base speech.
Wait. Are you ready?
Yes.
I found it.
Yes.
You want the whole 6, or...
Oh my gosh.
Because it's the whole... I don't know if I can say it now.
No, I'll do it.
The delivery and banter can get quite base at times.
Alright. Well, I guess to start with, the calendar. Ashley, comments? So, I hope you've all heard about the calendar. Because I was really excited about the calendar. And I bought one. I bought the one with Jon Snow on the cover. Because I like Jon Snow. And I find out last week that I paid an extra $10 to get Jon Snow on the cover, and I don't actually get Jon Snow on the cover. Then, I find out that the calendars have shipped, and I don't have my fucking calendar. They go on their FAQ on the site for Babel Brothers, and it says that I should have my calendar by now. And I don't. It says for me to email them. And I did. And it's been about 4 days and I still haven't heard anything from them. And I'm pissed that I paid for this calendar that I do not have. And I want my money back. Thank you. That's what I have to say about the calendars. Oh, also, the people who paid $55 for a signed calendar from George R. R. Martin totally didn't get a signed calendar. Really? So we can't even sign calendars? Well, apparently they had some issues with the printing, and I emailed them back in the beginning of December. I was like, hey guys, where's my fucking calendar? And they're like, oh, it'll be out soon. I was like, okay, whatever. And I waited, and I still don't have my calendar. My husband bitches about them all the time with their comic stuff. So I wish you were warning. So, Diablo Brothers may? Babel Brothers, there's just so many things wrong with them in the calendar right now, and I just heard awful things after I bought this calendar, and I'm like, why did no one warn me before I bought the freaking calendar? Because it's been burned. Got to restrain myself. So, I guess what happened was, I paid an extra $10 to get Jon Snow on my calendar. I know, I'm a loser. And it turns out that, I guess during the press release, on my cover. I was like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go. And Jon Snow's on the regular cover, and it's just very disappointing. And if you're listening, can I please have my money back? It's how much more than. The regular one was $15, and the signed one was $55, and then the one I paid for, which was a limited edition cover, was $24. $25. Did you pay for it without like a credit card or anything? Yeah, I did, and I was going to file a claim against them, but because I pre-ordered it so early, I can't do that anymore. Oh, wow. So, yay!
So it looks like here that the calendars, according to Martin, shipped on December 17th.
Right.
Still
yeah, other people have gotten theirs. Some people have gotten theirs. I was over at the Westeros boards, and it looks like some people have them and some people don't. And it seems to me the people who pre-ordered them way back when I did don't have them. So I'm thinking, like, they lost all their pre-orders? Yeah, they lost all of our stuff or something, because they switched over websites or something during this, and I was like, oh, this is gonna, like, fuck me in the ass, like, seriously. And it totally did. So, I'm not happy about it, and I let them know that in my email, so... That's the FAQ. There's a thing over in Westeros. There's a topic about it. You can go read it there. If you don't have your calendar, I know how you feel. Well, my fucking calendar, too.
I was just going to wait for someone to scan the images in and then...
They're not doing that! Can you believe that?
Someone will. Well, they have to get the calendar first.
Some of them do have the calendar. Some of the people do have the calendar. They haven't done it yet, and that makes me sad. All the other fandoms I'm a part of, we share. We do, we share. We don't hold screenplays and be like, we're not going to tell you all the details, but we'll give you a little hint. Anyway, so that's the deal with the calendars. I'm not buying anything from them again. Even if Dance comes out through this company, I won't be buying it, I'm sorry.
It won't come through them.
I know, I'm just saying, if I ever did, hell froze over. I wouldn't do it. I wait for eBay.
Well, my husband suspects that they aren't going to be in business real long.
I don't know. To be honest with you.
Should we move on to the problems with the HBO script?
Sure.
Sure thing.
Did we all read that? Did you read it, Ashley?
Which brings us to, who do you really love that everyone else seems to really hate? I'm not answering this because you guys all know.
Theon's an obvious one for me.
Yeah. I love Theon. Viserys is usually my answer. I know he didn't get enough screen time in the first book, but I just felt really sorry for him. He was obviously a product of bad genetics and just a desire for what he felt was rightfully his.
Don't let the Harry Lloyd factor do anything to your...
Okay, first of all, don't ever try to discount the Harry Lloyd factor.
No, we're talking about the books here, babe.
I just feel bad. I just feel like he really wanted something, and he's just like this, maybe autistic slightly. Couldn't read social cues from the Dothraki very well.
He's a moron.
Oh. A tough upbringing, so... Yeah.
He should be humbled by his upbringing, having to drag himself through the trenches.
Well, he is genetically just did not hit the jackpot there.
Yeah.
And Dany shows it too. It's more latent for her, but she goes crazy later.
That's the problem with the Targaryens. There's just too much possibility of going bad. Who cares about the greatness if every second ruler is going to go crazy and kill everybody?
Who knows what Rhaegar might have become?
You know who I love that everybody else hates? I can't remember his name now.
Clearly so much love.
That chick that is shagging Daenerys. I mean, that dude. Excuse me. Did I just say
Dario, you mean?
Dario.
Oh, yeah.
I like that dude. I like Dario.
Like him so much you can remember if he was male or female.
He was just focusing on like the sex scene. He didn't care about
I was thinking about the pommel of his swords. I like that guy. I like him. That dude's cool in my book.
Nope.
Yeah, he's just a Joe. He's just some dude. He like fights battles. He does his thing. He shows up. There's this princess. He's like, yo, what's up, princess? Princess is like, oh, he's kind of cute. I don't know why she thinks he's cute. She's like, he's kind of cute. And he's like, I'm going to fuck myself a princess. And he does. And he does. And he doesn't have any qualms about it. He just does his thing. He's a cool dude.
Amin, and going through your essay, I was very impressed by your command of the English language. I know that being Canadian, I was very surprised there were no A's in here, but just good job.
Well, they got cut in the draft.
Were there a few more U's and probably less Z's?
Yeah. Yes. I tried to use Canadian spelling for a lot of the stuff like OEU sort of stuff.
And Mark went through it and he was like, fuck this shit.
Canadian spelling?
Yeah.
Canadians? There's a different spelling?
You don't know?
In Canada?
Kyle's getting educated every time.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
There is. There's because we
use English spellings,
but we don't. Not everything we do is exactly UK either. So it's kind of a mix. Yeah.
What?
Kyle, mind blown.
What spell different? Give me an example here.
Color.
How do you spell color?
With a U.
A what?
You know Kyle is thinking C-U-L-U-R? Kyle already has trouble with English spelling, just American style.
I know, come on. I dropped out of high school. Let's give me a break.
Have been told that I walk like a dinosaur by everybody I know, so I'm probably just jealous of Sansa.
How does a dinosaur... How would they know how a dinosaur walks?
I don't know, like, I'm probably like a T-Rex that got short little arms, and then I just, like,
Okay, I just got
my way.
I just got a very funny picture about Mimi walking like a Tyrannosaurus and screaming.
You know, Merkin is no longer part of the title of this. It's just going to be Mimi walks like a dinosaur. That's it.
You know, it hurt my feelings when my coworkers told me that, and they said that they could hear me coming down, like, from the hall, like,
they could hear you coming
all the way.
This is like consensus for more than one person.
Everyone tells me that, especially if you put me in heels. It sounds like a battalion of horses are coming at you, because I just, like, don't know how to keep the heels on my feet, and then it's just, like, this horrible clomping sound, and, yeah, I don't know. And then I fall a lot, and I hurt my knee.
I think she's the only person that holds any kind of knowledge as to the secret of Hodor's, backstory.
That's true.
And
Hodor's
still
not share
something.
anything, yeah.
Right. Yeah, Hodor's not going to talk.
Yeah, he knows.
Well, he will, but...
Hodor.
Unless you warg into him, maybe do you get access to his memories?
Yeah, I was wondering that actually, if Bran is going to sort of reveal something from that. So.
Creaking doors.
That's what we need to title this episode.
After the day of the creaking door, Hodor only said Hodor. That messed them up.
That's because the guy who came in with the creaking door was like, "Say my name," and his name was Hodor. So that's all Hodor can say now.
I could just
There is that question of if you had to take any of the male podcasters, including our guest host podcasters, obviously from the last episode, to a deserted island and do God knows what with him, who would it be? And
Can I take a nail gun and a rusty nail and shoot it through my temple?
An acceptable alternative.
Okay.
You are telling me that, given the choice between the companionships of such fine men as Amin, Chase, Kyle, Apocalypse Dan, we're taking Elio out of the equation because it's weird, Fabio from Winter is Coming, and who else?
I'm going to go with Fabio.
That was fast.
So what's your rationalization for that, Danny?
Only because I've been listening to everybody else for so long. He hasn't annoyed me yet.
Awesome. Excellent point.
Nice.
Chase said that if he had to go to a deserted island, he would get depressed and kill himself. So if you didn't really want to go, you could always go with Chase, and then you'd be alone in like a week and a half.
That's true, Ashley, too.
Oh yeah, that might work for me, but I would probably kill myself too, because I would panic and be totally crazy and such. So anyone who went with me would kill themselves.
I like how none of you guys are taking this in the obviously sexy direction it should be going.
Well, how can you, given the people who you've put before us?
Have you seen Kyle?
Well, he's an actor.
What is that? It doesn't mean anything. He's not going to be acting on the island. You can just rape him until he cries. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm not down with that type.
You took Elio out of the picture, and he's the sexy Latin man.
Well, then I didn't want you and Linda to get into a hair pulling.
Well, of course, and I don't want to step on her toes, obviously. But then, wasn't there a guest host? I obviously go for the foreigners and the accents. There was a Swedish Sebastian, right, a couple of weeks ago?
Ooh, yeah, there was a Swedish Sebastian.
And that'll do for me. If I had to pick among the regulars, I guess. Well, from the way you talk, I guess I could just rub my boobies in Kyle's face and make him my bitch. So.
Yes, that would
make
work.
go pick coconuts for me and make them into a bra.
Oh man. So Ashley won. You have to pick someone because you podcast with these dudes on a regular basis.
Rusty nail through the temple?
I think we're terrible because when the guys were given all of us as choices, they were like, wow, she's hot and she's hot, and then instead we're just like, ew, these guys.
Yeah, they just pick the hot ones.
Can I pick a hot chick too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Oh. This is very awkward.
It has to be. It means this has to be done. These are the rules of the podcast.
Well, Amin even took 2 people to his island.
Nobody picked me because I was a pity pick.
Can I pick you?
Oh, yay! I would pick you too, Ashley.
Okay. I got a feeling that you'd be productive and we'd be able to build a boat together.
Exactly.
I thought they didn't pick you because they were scared that you might kill them with your knives.
Which is so odd because why would I have knives on a deserted island?
She has knives, and
Well,
that's
you
even
want
better
knives on a
because
deserted island.
Exactly.
Locke had knives on the deserted island.
I could open coconuts, make them into bras for Christina.
All right.
That's the thing that you want is a bra on a deserted island. I mean, who needs
You
sustenance?
don't want to burn your nipples.
We need support, man. We need support.
That is the worst part of a deserted island. Nipple sunburn.
But to stroke their egos, I think Dan would be a great person to talk to, if talking is what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Do you really want to bring someone named Apocalypse?
Well, I don't assume that's his actual.
Oh, that means he's read a lot of books about that, so he probably knows how to survive.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
right.
Unless it's a zombie apocalypse only.
Exactly. Yeah, that's his specialty, right? The zombie one. So
you really don't want zombies on the deserted island.
Here's who you don't want in a zombie apocalypse is Kyle, because he cannot play Left 4 Dead to save his life. Every 3 minutes he disturbed the witch and he would get knocked down, and he doesn't know how to fire his guns, and he just shoots me in the back of the head all the time. So he's definitely out for a zombie apocalypse. Definitely.
Useless. How useless.
I might have a mean in a zombie apocalypse. I think he would watch my back.
Yeah.
I feel like if I fell down, Chase would just laugh and leave me. But I think a mean would definitely have my back.
I'm leaning toward a mean because he does so much dating. I'm guessing he knows the Lord's kiss.
Oh my god.
I think maybe I could stretch out Amin's headband and make it into a bra too.
She's going to be the richest woman in Westeros, so she keeps.
She's going to sit the Iron Throne in the end, dude. It's going to be Queen Roz.
Well, one of these days we're going to get. Maybe we'll put a call out for that for somebody who really loves Roz, like it's our favorite character. Come on the show, and we'll have.
Oh yeah, that's a nice invite. Come on the show so we can just rip into you.
No, like if they put a good argument, then I'm willing to change. And I know like that my Roz hate is not completely rational. It has a rational basis, but I've taken it to another level because I just keep seeing her and I just keep flipping tables. So.
She keeps ending up with all these tables being broken in my home. Gotta blame someone.
I saw one person suggest that now that Dany has run out of handmaidens, that maybe Varys will send her over to
cross
the narrow sea.
She will literally be the world's most traveled.
She just travels to every single storyline.
That's a possibility, you know. They could very well do that.
I know. It's they need someone to keep.
It turns out at the end that the map that we're seeing at the beginning of the episode is actually her remembrance of every single place she's been.
Roz's diary.
The end of the series has her writing at a desk and close to the book.
She'll be old Roz.
If it was the Roz map, it'd be nothing but like dicks. It'd be like the end of Superbad.
There'll be this guy who's like, yeah, I made the 8. Roz in every city.
So what happened with Mimi lately?
I told you what would happen if you served me loyally with the favorite host poll. And what would happen if you did not?
What are you doing? What have you done?
There are those of you who still question whether your new lord means what he says. Here is the answer to your question.
Oh no!
As most of you now know, thanks to the omnipresent power of blogging, HBO's marketing team has been sending out these, promotional press kits to everyone in the world except for us here at the podcast of Ice and Fire.
I didn't get one.
You didn't get one? Okay.
No, I did not. I'm not.
Yeah, but Winter's Coming got one, is what we're getting at.
Yes.
Well, Winter is Coming got one. Your company, your employer has received one. So there are 80 of them that were made. They're these gorgeously crafted boxes, mysteriously referred to as the first link in the Maester's path. They were sent off to various bloggers, critics, webmasters, Seth Green, and specifically not our podcast.
What's with this? Okay. Time for me to go into Seinfeld mode. What is up with Seth Green getting a box?
Well, you see, he's famous, and I think he's on Robot Chicken, so they want him to do some stupid stop-motion action figure. Who knows?
Game of Thrones tribute.
Maybe he's secretly a fan. I don't know.
Is he a fan? Does he have like a blog or podcast or something that?
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter.
Well, he's got a Twitter that people follow, so maybe that's it.
There you go.
But yeah, specifically.
Well, they couldn't go Ashton Kutcher. I mean, or Gaga. Just send one to Lady Gaga.
Well, I think Seth Green has geek cred, but Felicia Day probably got a box.
No, that's true. Well, she didn't say anything.
Well, it was an interactive multi-part marketing campaign. I guess the fact that it was called The First Link indicates that it's going to be a multi-part thing. So there's going to be lots of things that we don't get, y'all. Look forward to it.
And you'll complain about every one of them.
Every single one. We didn't get breakfast with George. We don't get boxes of scents. Nobody likes us. Anyway, so it's to draw attention and excitement to the impending series premiere, which it really has. I mean, everyone's been posting about this. They're doing unboxing videos and photos and everything. So if you ever needed further confirmation that we are the Black Woody of the fandom, this is it, the bitterness.
No one wants to be associated with us.
You know what? I actually know the secret why. This is all behind the scenes stuff. Not why they hate you. It's just because Chase so verbally, viciously attacked Michelle Fairley. They're going, no, you know what? No, that's it. Eject.
Hey,
Eject.
I'm not. Other people said mean things too.
Yeah, but you said it in
Chase is like, it wasn't just me.
You said it in that booming, resonating voice of yours. So.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I have a deal for HBO. If we get rid of Chase, can we get stuff?
So here's my theory on what happened to the Blackfish. I think how everyone in there had like one job, like to keep them busy, like get them drunk or whatever, at least in the books. Yeah. So I think the Blackfish went to the Godswood to take a piss, and then he spent some time with Pink Walder over there.
Who's Pink Walder?
Well, he's just a character I made up. There's like Black Walder and all these Walder. Pink Walder was there. But then the Blackfish escapes, and then Freya will like, you had one job. You had one job to keep the Blackfish busy with jobs.
But job. Wait, so Pink Walder is the gay Frey?
Yeah, the gay Frey in the Godswood. They're supposed to keep him busy there, but couldn't. But once he got the monster was loose, they couldn't cage him again. So he had his way with Pink Walder, and then he got the hell out of there.
ladies, once the monster is on, what is it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
And now Pink Walder has a broken jaw. So.
Oh man.
Because he couldn't contain the truth.
That is a messed up theory.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amin, for scarring me.
But that's how he gets away. So he gets off and he gets away.
He gets off and he gets out.
Chase, I'm gonna fly to Minnesota and I'm gonna shave your fucking face. It's driving me crazy.
I am not. Okay, Mimi, it's not even, again, it's nowhere near my beard, okay?
Maybe it's just something not
even, it's feet away.
Sounds like beard static.
I don't know what else I can do, really. Hold on, wait, I have an idea. Hold on.
Is he gonna shave his face?
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
Not from you.
Oh, touche, Chase, touche.
Oh
well, I shaved one of them. Guess which one is left?
You shaved one beard? Oh, your ass beard is left. Okay, gotcha.
I was going to think neck beard, but...
We wish George would finish writing our passion he's been igniting. The banter can be a little frightening. We're just slightly obsessed. Did Ramsay get his yet? Will Jon Snow pull through? I hope Dany and Drogon burn Victarion's crew. We wish George would finish writing. Dragons ended before the fighting. Spoilers chapters are so delighting, cause these cliffhangers suck. For now there's group rereads and Amin's crazy theories, but we'll die if you're outpaced by the HBO series. We wish George would finish writing. Fingernails we have been biting. The release date would be exciting. I guess you just can't rush hard.
Is there a member of House Manwoody in the game?
Oh, yeah. Why did I forget that question?
Man, Woody.
And then, gay part, he starts massaging his shoulder.
What?
Dunk shrugged away the
Wow.
ling's hand.
Puts his hand on his shoulder. Wow.
No.
Oh my god.
No.
It makes him gay.
No,
What?
The guy sounds like Jojen. Is like Jojen gay too for Bran?
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, dude, I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder.
No, he
oh,
massages
you're
it.
gay.
And Dunk shrugged his hand away.
Okay.
Oh, come on, like, you don't get this, Kyle. He goes, I suppose that means I'll have to take the throne then. I would much rather be teaching you to fiddle. Fiddle with his dick? I mean...
What? Where is this?
Are you
Next
doing
page.
the same book we did?
No.
What does he mean when he says, I would much be rather teaching you to fiddle? Like, what does he mean?
Hold on. I gotta find this.
I think I might have raised an eyebrow at that one.
You know, and Dunk says, you're drunk. And the filler says, wonderfully drunk. Wine makes all things possible, Sir Duncan. You'd look a god in white, I think. But if the color does not suit you, perhaps you prefer to be a lord? Come on. I want to massage your shoulder and teach you how to fiddle, and you look damn good in white. To him, strong.
Maybe he just wants to woo him to his side.
With like a massage job?
Why not? Massage dudes all the time. Wait, God, I can't find this.
Oh my God, he says, be my dog, sir. The night is alive with promise. We can howl together and wake the very gods. Literally nothing gayer.
Dude. Two guys don't get undressed together. It's not a locker room. It's okay with a bunch of guys. Two guys alone in a tent, undressed together.
I've gotten undressed with
okay.
a girl in a walk-in closet. Like, we changed into swimsuits.
That's cool.
You can tell us more about that
but-
later, but let's keep going over
You're a
here.
girl.
You're
But I'm just
a
saying.
Girl.
No, you guys can never tell me that you've never undressed in a room with a guy and it wasn't like...
Of course I have. My brother.
I can say that.
Really complex.
Yeah.
What's going on there, so...
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't think of that when I first saw it, and now that's all I'm going to be able to think of.
Oh, you thought about Lion King when you saw it, right? Which is also
I did. I thought Lion King.
Yeah.
Goofy
It's
things
Lion
coming
King,
into my head.
except the king is from...
They lift her up, and it was like, "Zazabum, boy, zazabum." Oh, by the way, that was the worst Lion King song version.
He must have felt her gaze upon him, for he looked up from his sword, met her eyes, and smiled. Arianne felt heat rushing to her face. I should never have brought him. If he gives me such a look when Ares is here, we will have blood on the sand. Whose, she could not say. By tradition, the Kingsguard were the finest knights in all the 7 kingdoms, but Darkstar was Darkstar.
Sir Gerald Rose. I believe I'll have a piss. Okay, somebody else be Drake.
Watch where you set your feet, Dre cautioned. It has been a while since Prince Oberyn milked the local vipers.
I was weaned on venom, Dalt. Any viper takes a bite of me will rue it. So Gerald vanished through a broken arch.
When he was gone, the others exchanged glances. Forgive me, princess, said Garen softly, but I do not like that man.
Okay, I'll take this one.
Do another voice.
I'll take it. A pity, Dre said. I believe he's half in love with you.
We need him, Arianne reminded them. It may be that we will need a sword, and we will surely need his castle.
Ashley.
Oh, you didn't color code it.
Yeah, I stopped at that point.
Hi, Hermitage.
Just speak in your normal voice. It's okay. Just be yourself.
No, do that voice again, Ashley.
Hi, Hermitage is not the only castle in Dorne, but it's some of
Are you Indian now? Keep going.
And you have other kingdoms who love you well during the night.
I've been trying to eat some cookies as quietly as possible.
That's a tactic you learn doing the podcasting, is to eat quietly.
Yeah.
I have been practicing the last 3 weeks.
You see, what you do is you flip the little switch on your microphone to off.
I don't have one.
I don't have one.
Isn't there one on the Skype?
But what if you have a really good man Woody joke that just comes out of the blue and you've got to insert it at the exact moment? You don't want to fuck around with the mic.
Well, usually.
Oh, I hate it when Man Woody comes unexpectedly.
Damn!
I just came back. I heard that. Okay.
Especially when my mouth is full.
Oh!
Oh!
All All right, Nina, get us back on track.
Class level so high.
Somebody
So
needs
high
to
right now.
draw a diagram, whatever. Like.
Now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. Jon Snow was a deserter. He had betrayed the oath, fleeing the wall, the watch, and his word. He left in the night, with no one save Samwell Tarly to stop him. But Sam is not the type who often gets his way. I shall die at my post. He fled south. Moonlight silvered the hills as he followed the twisting ribbon of the King's Road, past Molestown with its red light marking the spot to dig for buried treasure. He had no need for whores. He had a father to avenge and a brother to join in battle. Robb would take him in, wouldn't he? I am the sword in the darkness. When the riders came for him, it was Ghost who let them be found. What do you want with me? We want to take you back where you belong. I belong with my brother. Where are your brothers now? Gren, Pip, Halder, Toad, Mather, and the others. Sam, he thought. Damn you. The Watcher on the walls. Damn you all. The road back was filled with nothing but the thoughts of his next desertion. I am the fire that burns against the cold. They killed my father. Did you expect me to do nothing? The light that brings the dawn. We expected you to do just as you did, Mormont said. The horn that wakes the sleepers. Aemon told me you'd go. I told him you'd be back. The shield that guards the realms of men. Do you think your brother's war is more important than ours? It's not. Beyond the wall, the shadows length. Vast herds of elk stream south, and mammoths. Huge, misshapen footprints. Whole villages abandoned, fires in the mountains, Mance Raider massing an army. Rangers are missing, and I want you with us when we leave to search beyond. So I will have an answer from you, Lord Snow, and I will have it now. Forgive me, Father. Robb. Arya. Bran. Forgive me. I cannot help you. This is my place. I pledge my life and honor to the Night's Watch. I am yours, my lord, for this night and all the nights to come.
The nominees for Best Podcast are Geek Speak Live,
Harry Potter fans, and yeah, trying to hook up with people that are like-minded.
Oh, can you imagine that? Imagine walking up and they're like, oh, you know, so what kind of pickup lines do you use? If you're like, do you want to see my magic wand?
What do you know?
Was first used in a feature film in 1922. Sound. No, it's not sound.
Is it 3D?
It is 3D.
A podcast of ice and fire.
He's like, yo, let's try a princess. Princess is like, oh, he's kind of cute. And he's like, I'm going to fuck myself a princess.
Fire on the Mound.
With plenty of whimpers, and Micah stood alone, peering around the bowward edge of the quarterdeck.
Digressive obscenity.
Space exploration, more affordable and more common.
You're making that up.
No, I am not.
Okay, I called your
That
bluff,
is
but it wasn't a bluff.
actually true.
So I figure if I just say, you're lying.
Okay. And the winner is a podcast of ice and fire.